Financial information has never been more available. You can find it on TV, podcasts, YouTube. You're listening to this show, right? Reddit. Now there's AI, right, that can answer any question in about 3 seconds. And yet some of the worst financial decisions we see come from people who did a ton of research first, believe it or not. So that's what this episode's about. We're going to talk about why this happens and what good research should actually look like.
Welcome to the My Retirement Clarity Podcast, where our goal is simple, to help you close the gap between what you know and what you implement. The team at Perkins Wealth Management does this by helping good people make great decisions so they can enjoy an amazing retirement. And now, here's your host and financial advisor, Lee Perkins.
Welcome in. Glad to have you on the show. This is My Retirement Clarity. I'm Ben George with Lee Perkins, owner and financial advisor at Perkins Wealth Management there in beautiful Macon, Georgia. Lee, good to talk to you again. I know we're closing in on the grand opening of the new office. I know you guys are pretty excited, right?
Yeah, we're getting closer. Everything is pretty much done on the inside. We've got flooring down, carpets, and the tile and the glass in all the meeting rooms, and furniture starting to come in. So yeah, we're getting excited. We can't wait. It's going to be a big time, and we'll do a grand opening sometime in August, and then shortly after that, we're doing what we're calling a next gen workshop, where we're basically inviting some younger folks that are anywhere from 23 to probably 34, 35 to do some financial planning 101 and even 201 for some of the older folks.
Yeah, really cool. If you want to get more information about that, just call the office, 478-254-3550. Also, you can schedule a time to meet with Lee anytime by going to talkwithjlp.com. So today we're talking about being too informed, Lee. This really is a problem. I mean, it is great that we live in a time where you can get really answers to anything you want, but again, you got to be careful on where you get it from, don't you?
Yeah, and things have changed a lot. I think the access to information is great, and it's just going to get better. But I think about where we are now and think, are we really in a better spot overall? And at times, I don't know that we are. 15, 20 years ago, maybe 20 years ago or so more, if you wanted some kind of financial advice, you talk to a stockbroker, and maybe they would tell you what's going on, or read a book or watch something on TV. Now we're in this 24-hour news cycle, and we are just being inundated with things, and these media outlets have to create content, and that generally sends people down rabbit holes, and then people can search a term, and they get on a podcast, and maybe that podcast. I think our podcast is a really good podcast. We're not talking about crazy things here, but there are some people doing things on podcasts that I think are crazy, and sometimes people want to chase those things. One of the things that we're battling now with some of the younger people is financial advice on TikTok, and it's insane. My son showed me a video the other day of somebody talking about a write-off, and it's crazy because kids they don't understand what a write-off is. And I actually pulled up an old video clip of Seinfeld and talking. Kramer was talking with Jerry about, I think it might have been a mail, something that he was shipping in the mail, and Kramer was like, it's okay, the post office is just going to write it off, and Jerry's like, I don't even think you know what a write-off is. So it was a really great bit there. But this TikToker was talking about write-offs, and it's just insane. They have no clue. So access to all that triangle or that rectangle that we carry around our pocket is a blessing. But man, it can be a curse, because people they consume so much information, and sometimes they don't do anything with it.
Yeah, there is, again, so much out there. I'm curious, who do you hear your clients kind of referencing most when they come in? I'm guessing it's not TikTok is for their financial information, not yet at least. Maybe as the younger crowd starts coming in. But who do you often hear being referenced the most? And is there any that might make you be a little concerned if you hear from it besides TikTok?
Right. Well, you would think that my answer to that would be somebody like a Dave Ramsey or a Susie Orman, some of the financial marketers that are out there. But I think it's no one personality. It's just the news. And like people always ask me, hey, they say there's going to be a crash soon, or they say this, or they say that. And who they is just generally going to be whoever the talking head is on the politically charged station that they're watching. Either it's a Fox or a CNN, and they take whatever that person says as sort of the gospel. And so we just have to sort through all of that. And I try to take politics as much out of the financial conversation as possible. Now, policies do need your finances should involve take into consideration the policies of either political side, but definitely not the political, the political side. Because when somebody comes in the office and they want to start talking about politics, that usually is not a great use of our time.
Right. Yeah. No question about that. There's this AI factor too that's crept in, obviously much more over the last year, maybe 2 years, and people are using it for everything in their life now. How much are they actually using it for financial decisions, Lee, so far? What are you hearing and seeing?
I think we're in, I don't know if we're at the height of this thing. I think AI is only going to continue to get better. People are looking, I think for the most part, people are using AI to research things. I think it's kind of replacing what we used to use Google for, although Google has its own AI tools now to get some of that information. But you can't depend on it. I have a buddy of mine that posted a video. He's another financial advisor. He posted a video on his page where he's talking to AI, and I don't know if it was Chat or Claude or whoever, and he just basically was asking it questions, and it was coming back, and it's completely incorrect. Now, it didn't have anything to do with financial planning. It was just like, it had something to do with, I think, country music or something like that. But the point of his video is just to show how we sometimes just take what AI says as gospel, and I think it's important, very important, for you to fact check that at multiple sources. Years ago, our industry was facing, the robo-advisors. Robo-advisors are coming for our jobs. People aren't going to need a financial advisor. And I would tell you that my client base is less trusting of technology probably than they ever have been. And they want that face-to-face interaction. They want to sit knee to knee with somebody in a conference room and make sure they're on the right page. So as good as AI is, I don't think we're in danger of being replaced. I just don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, that has been the big talk for many years. I don't think we hear about it as much anymore, Lee, the robo-advisors. But yeah, that AI kind of creeps in. Does it bother you at all if somebody comes in with like just a bunch of AI-driven research? Does that affect you at all?
It doesn't, because I do some AI research as well, so I'm kind of informed on what they're hearing out there. And so now we're kind of prepared for it, and I know that's part of what the deal is. Before I go do something now, I'm going to do some of my own AI research. I just think you have to be we always talk about the idea of being a prudent investor and knowing, or that we don't talk about that, but that's an industry term. Be a prudent investor. Make sure understand. I think you need to be a prudent consumer of AI information, and make sure that you're not saying something or learning something that's completely off base. So that's, I don't know. We got a long way to go with the AI, and it's going to get better. But I think there's also going to be some problems that are created that at this point we really don't even know anything about. Hey folks, Lee Perkins here. I wanted to tell you about our brand new book called Next Phase: How to Retire in a Year or Less Without Regrets. It's all about helping you prepare for the next phase of your life, whatever that looks like for you. So, if you're ready to make the most of your next phase, or if you're already retired and aren't sure you're doing all you can to get the most out of your retirement, then you'll want a copy of this book. All you have to do is text Next Phase to 478-475-2050, and we'll send you a copy right away. You can also access additional resources and register for one of our upcoming workshops at our website, www.myretirementclarity.com. Thanks for listening. Now back to the show.
Yeah, and I think another aspect of that too is the bias that kind of gets created too. And maybe, I don't know if there's a term for this bias yet. Maybe there is, Lee, but the algorithms are set up now to where, if you search for one thing, that's all you're served, right? So if you're searching, let's just say I'm searching annuities, right? Are they good? And I read one thing about they're great, I keep getting served that over and over and over again, and it really just leads you to a conclusion before you've truly ever had a good conversation and analyze both sides about that. How do you work through that with someone that maybe even has their mind made up on something before they even come into your office?
So the way I do that, you're right. I think AI is going to tell you what you want, what it wants you to hear, because you've kind of how you propose the questions and all that. It's going to tell you what you want to hear, and those kind of algorithms are going to continue to feed in. You have to challenge it. Say, I have done this. I've said, don't tell me what I want to hear. Tell me where this idea is wrong. So if I have something that I believe is true, I'll tell it. Tell me, poke holes in this idea. Tell me where it's wrong. Challenge me. Think like somebody else. In some of the things that I'm doing from a leadership standpoint, I've tried to create basically an AI board of directors that can help guide me. So I've told it to think like some of my mentors, like John Maxwell and Craig Groeschel, some of those things, and it'll kind of gather some of those characteristics or some of the thoughts from each of those people. But you're right. If you just continually accept what it's giving you, it's going to continue to just sort of think like you, and it's not going to challenge you.
Yeah, there's no question about that. And again, that's why you have conversation, right? Especially if you have ideas, you think something might work, reach out to Lee, get a second opinion, talk with JLP.com. That is the best way to get on his calendar. But, even if you think you have a good game plan, it's always best to just get a second opinion from someone that's every single day is a financial advisor that's working through these situations and scenarios and seeing all these different tools and how they're used. That's so important. So, it leads us to this kind of idea of too much research too. Is it possible, Lee? I mean, I think it certainly seems like it with this day and age. Sometimes you just don't know where to look because there's just so much out there. But where do you stand on that?
Yeah, that there's way too much information. Well, some people can say information is like money. You can never have too much. I would kind of maybe take the alternative approach there. I think too much information causes confusion, and I would tell you, I see that every single day when prospects come in our office and they have preconceived notions on a topic, and they've done their research. There's not a more informed group of consumers out there than the ones that are there today because of all the information that is at our fingertips. But man, we're drowning. Information is everywhere, but we're drowning. The wisdom is just not there. We can't apply that because we're paralyzed, and that paralysis by analysis or analysis paralysis, that is absolutely real. And I've met with people 5 years ago that had everything, all the information, and didn't make a decision. And then they'll come back in some point this year. They're still in the exact same place because there's too many choices. I don't know what to do. And that phrase right there, I just don't know what to do. That is a direct result of being overstimulated and overinformed. And boy, that's why I wish, if you could go back 20 years, maybe if we don't have all this information at our fingertips, maybe it's better. I think our angst about the stock market is only exacerbated by what we see on the news. Our access to our accounts 24 hours a day. I have people that will check their accounts 4 or 5 times a day. That's not healthy. Go back 20, 25 years ago before we had all the online access to our accounts, you might not have known what your account was doing until you got a statement in the mail every month. And people back then were probably had less anxiety over their accounts than they do now. So, because that access allows us or makes us think, question long-term strategies, because the short term is in our face every single day, and it makes you want to shift your strategy, and that's never a good thing.
Well, let's leave some people with maybe some guidance. What would you tell someone that wants to find good research and do good work before coming in and just wants to be more informed as a client? What do you suggest to them?
Well, you got to find a trusted source, and I would not say that trusted source is going to be an AI bot or an AI agent. It's not there yet. So whether you love somebody like a Dave Ramsey, although I would tell you, please don't take investment advice from Dave Ramsey. I've always joked that I have a love-hate relationship with Dave Ramsey. I've really become to respect that guy more in the last 2 months, because I've seen him live. I kind of know his heart, know his backstory, kind of why he is the way he is. And I can look past that he says you should just put all your money in a growth stock mutual fund and you'll get 14% every year, and take out 10%, you're going to be fine. Ignore that kind of stuff. But from a research on the stock market, I don't know why a retiree today would sit at home and research the stock market. Why would you not outsource that to somebody that does that every day? I mean, that's obviously what we do here at our firm, but there are other firms that do that as well. I mean, you're not at home researching how to do a root canal on yourself. You'd never do that. You're paying a dentist to do that, somebody who does it all day, every day. So I just don't think it's wise for anybody to be their own financial advisor. But if you do find a trusted source, I hope that trusted source is your financial advisor. And that's who you should bounce ideas off of. I have clients that'll call me all the time and just say, "Hey, Lee, I read this. Give me your thoughts on this," and we'll just talk through it. I can't tell you how many times in the last month I've had a conversation with people about the SpaceX IPO, which the day we record this, we're 2 days from that happening, and there's all kind of hype there, and I just try to help people just bring clarity and some perspective to any topic. So I think there's no better way to do that than talking to somebody individually rather than just seeking out somebody online, because somebody online that you don't know, they don't know your situation, they don't know the complexities and the moving parts of what's going on. And so that advice and that perspective needs to take all of that into consideration, in my very humble opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot to think about, but being informed is good. Doing the research is great, but just be careful with what you're paying attention to. And again, the best thing you do is have someone on your team that is looking out for your best interest, and that's what you guys do, right, Lee? I mean, you're looking out for the best interest of your clients. So even if they think they found the best thing on TikTok, or AI gave them the best breakdown of the next stocks to break out, you're always going to be there in their corner to help provide the real guidance that they need, right?
Yeah. We want to help them just filter through the noise, stay focused on the task at hand, keep the big picture in always at center focus, and let's just not chase shiny objects, because shiny objects is what gets clicks online, and what the media is drawn to, and how they show their graphics on all their the financial shows. The graphics are meant to grab our attention, so they can feed you 5 to 7 minutes of information, so they can sell ads in between those spots. That is the name of the game.
Yep. Well, hopefully this gives you a little more clarity. That's what we try to do here on this show, My Retirement Clarity. That's what it's all about. And we appreciate you listening. If you haven't subscribed to the show, we'd appreciate you if you did that as well. And if you have questions for Lee, the best thing you can do is schedule a time to sit down and talk with him. You can do that at talkwithjlp.com, or call the office directly at 478-254-3550. All right, Lee, that'll do it for us here. Appreciate your time as always. Hope you have a great week. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, man. Hey there, Lee Perkins here. If you're like a lot of folks, you've been listening to this podcast for a long time now, but I've got an important question for you. Have you implemented any of the ideas that we've discussed on the show? If you haven't, what are you waiting on? You know you're not getting any younger, so here's my challenge. Don't just consume the content. Our number one goal for this podcast is to help you close the gap between what you know and what you implement. So if you're ready to implement, take that first step today and visit www.talkwithjlp.com and schedule a 15-minute phone call with one of our advisors, and we'll help you close the gap between what you know and what you implement so you can enjoy the next phase of your life. Now is your time. Don't procrastinate any longer.
Investment advisory services are offered by J.L. Perkins Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor and insurance agency. Information is for illustrative purposes only and does not constitute tax, legal, or investment advice. Always consult with a qualified tax, legal, or investment professional before taking any action.